I've said it before and I'll say it again. Knowledge isn't power. The more you know sometimes, the more you fuck yourself up. Hello and welcome to another Bodgit and Leggit video. Right, we have a 2010 Ford Focus 1.6, but that doesn't really matter. It's just a Ford Focus. And you can see we have the temperature gauge is not working. It says the bonnet is up, which it isn't. The windows will not work. The heater will not work. And this is where, when you know systems on the car and you know too much, or you think you know too much, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. I will explain. Right, so in a lot of cars, especially one with the automatic climate control, you know, one that, you know, does all the temperature and everything for you. When your ambient temperature sensor goes on the outside, it completely messes up the system. So in other words, you can have an ambient temperature sensor go on the outside and your heater won't work. I've even shown in other videos, ambient temperature sensor in a Volkswagen Golf stopped the reversing cameras and the reversing sensors from working. And this is just an ambient temperature sensor. So a thing that you don't think is very important is quite important. I remember a long time ago getting caught out quite badly with one of these because I knew the system and I knew it needed the heater control needed the ambient temperature sensor to work. So what I did was, I saw it wasn't working. I started doing all my measurements, going to the, you know, ambient temperature sensor, peeling back the wires, checking for, you know, any cuts, or checking for power, checking for this, you know, doing a lot of checks and, you know, really scratching my head and thinking, why isn't it working? And I will show you why it's not working. I've come across this problem quite a few times. But also remember, when you come across a problem in a car, if it's 3 or 4 things have happened at once, you can be pretty much certain, you know, obviously you've got an issue, but you haven't necessarily got a problem. And what I mean by that is, the ambient temperature sensor, yes, is connected to the heater, but it's not connected to, in this case, to the windows. It's not connected to the bonnet open, and it was hard to start initially, first thing, and it's not connected to that. So you'll find a lot of times you might have a ground wire sharing 3 or 4 sensors, and once that ground wire goes, it drops out 3 or 4 sensors and causes all sorts of problems. So bear that in mind. But like I said, so basically what I was doing was I was going through all the, you know, powers, grounds, getting wiring diagrams, looking at this, looking at that, looking at relays, blah, 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 blah. And what it was is very, very simple. And I've come across this a good few times in these Focuses and Monderas, I think. So then what I do, I come under here and you can see that module there, which it depends on the car you've got, but it can be called a GEM or a BCM. They're all kind of different, but anyway, they all kind of do the same thing. But anyway, that's supposed to be like a plastic cover that comes under here, and I don't know if it shows on camera, but can you see anything amiss? I've seen this so many times. Watch this, ready? Now I come back and I guarantee you on the dash, boom, look at that, the reading is there. If I turn the ignition on, oh, I haven't got the key, put this in one camera motion so no one can say, oh, you didn't do that, because some people said you've changed that, you didn't fix that. I did a oh, come on, key. I fixed a clock on a car before and someone said he just changed it, he didn't fix it. Fucking idiots. Boom. I'll leave the heater on, and what I'll do is just disconnect this slightly. There we go. It's all broke, actually. Oh, come on. See? Actually broke. The feet kick it, and once it kicks it, loosens it, and everything stops working. So I've just left it out because I need to repair that clip. But what I'm trying to get at is, knowing too much and knowing how systems work, sometimes you get ahead of yourself because you just naturally assume, oh well, this isn't working and this isn't working and this isn't working, and I know they're all connected on the circuit, so let's try this. That's what you're thinking in your head. Where just go through simple basic checks. Check your fuses, check your relays, check your connections. You can do that very, very easy and very, very quickly, and you can see how it can save hours upon hours of time. You know, everyone's guilty of it, no matter what field you're in. I'm sure if you think about it, no matter what field you are in, when you know a lot, you go 10 steps ahead. You are running before you can even crawl. You are sprinting. You are leaving Usain Bolt in your dusk. That's how fast you are going, where you just need to stop. It's the turtle and the hare. It's so true. You need to stop. You have to go slow to go fast. So that's essentially it. That's the lesson to learn. Because one time I remember this caught me out big time. I was checking everything and everything. Anyway, you live and learn, don't you? But yeah, so what I always do with them connections is, which is exactly what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to tape them up, get some really good heavy duty, you know, tape that can go up there and it sticks like shit to a blanket, and it will kind of stop it. Get that plastic tray back as well, because that plastic tray will certainly help, and tell people to stop kicking underneath your dash when they're sitting in your passenger seat. And you know, if they don't, just brake really hard and say, do that again. Yeah. So yeah, just look, you have to go slow to go fast, and this is a case in point. Just take your time, do your basic checks first before you get ahead of yourself and start stripping the whole engine out, stripping the dash out and everything, to a stupid fuse, to a stupid connection, to something very, very stupid. And you can see when I was pulling that connection out, it really doesn't need to be out a lot. You heard it when the heater was working, and just until it came out. You can even quickly look underneath there and it all looks fine, because it's only out a couple of mil, and that's all it takes.